Hey guys, welcome back to GM Tools. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about how to create servers in Node.js. Before going ahead with this particular tutorial, I would just like to make it very clear that you guys need to have some basic knowledge regarding the JavaScript design patterns. When I really term it as JavaScript design pattern, doesn't mean it is something really mammoth which I'm talking about. It is just you should have a basic experience of writing JavaScript code into common JS, and as and how we go ahead with the tutorial, we'll definitely come across to the situations wherein I'll be using the methodology of writing the code in common JS, and it would be much more simpler to you. But to the guys who are really new to it, I would suggest you guys should just go and learn a bit of JavaScript design patterns. I already have a video for that in my channel. That I will definitely share it in the description uh, uh, below the video. And yeah, so this particular video is all about creating HTTP servers. So while writing the code, I'll explain you what really things are, and yep, without doing much of a talking, let's just move. So this is exactly app.js which I had made in my previous video, and I'll be executing this particular file on my node. Um, JS or Node.js. This is what I'm really going to do. And yeah, so right now, the first thing which I'm going to go ahead over here is, so I'm going to create a variable called HTTP, and I'm going to require something like this, HTTPS, HTTP. So HTTP, so firstly HTTP, it is, if I do put a comment over it, is a core Node.js module here. So this is to understand what really require means. It is again a common JS pattern which Node.js is really performs to or conforms to, and that is the reason I just told you before that you just have to know a little bit base of it. So over here, the Node.js come with a built-in package called as HTTP, and this is something which we are going to use to create HTTP server. So this is nothing but a core Node.js module, and I have just referenced it. Moving ahead, I'll just create some of the variables and some. So firstly, I'll create a host name. So my host is going to be nothing but my local host. Moving ahead, I'll also go ahead and I'll see, I'll do my port number. So port number is going to be 3000. So firstly, you really need to understand what is hostname. So hostname is nothing but the machine on which you're hosting uh, your server. And as of now, this is going to be my local machine. So that's the reason the host name would be localhost for me. And at the same time, the local host can be run on various ports. So my port number would be 3000. And I will, so once I'm done with my code, I'll just show you how to really access this particular URL to see what code we have written, to see the output, what we have, what we really desire. So now moving ahead, I'll just go ahead and create a variable called server, and it would be something like as it would be created from this particular code module, that is HTTP. So as HTTP, it has some default property called as something like this, create server. So create server, if you can see over here, I don't know whether it gives, no. So, okay, so create server is nothing but a function, right, which accepts a callback. So callback is, so okay, so over here, the people who are really not knowing what is ES6, for the basic guys who really are versed with ES5 way of writing JavaScript, it would be something like this, like passing a function inside a function, and this particular function is going to be having a request and response format. So this is one way of writing the code, and there is another way which is confirming ES6 way of writing the code, which I'm really going to follow because it's really very cool. I can just, there is a syntax when you can write a declarative function using using this particular way, and it is called as arrow functions. Okay, and over here I'm going to say this function is going to be having accepting two parameters, something I call as request and response. So request is just okay, I'm really sorry, it is going to be request. So request is going to be something which your server is going to be entertained, like the browser on which your server is going to be hit. It's something wherein your request will be having all that supposing all that information, like for example, the URL from which your server is getting hit, or the data which has been passed to this particular server. And again, this is going to be the response, and response is something, it is the way it is nothing but an object with the help of which you can pass on the statuses to the client, and also you can pass in the way like headers to the client, and also the data. So I'm just going to write a simple thing. I am going to say console.log, right? I'm going to console.log out something called as my server was hit by URL, and the URL is again going to be request.url. Okay, this is one thing. Moving ahead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a status, status code, and my status code is going to be 200. So you have to know the format in which the servers really communicate with the client. So everything, if at all anything goes correct and there is no error in the request, uh, the response given to the client is always with the status 200, which shows which really means that everything was fine and the response is great, so it is okay. Moving ahead, what I'm going to do is I need to tell my client that you know that my data is going to be of type text plain. It is going to be plain text. So how I'm going to do it is something like content. I'm going to set a property called content type, and it is going to be nothing but, no, it is not going to be like that. It's going to be a comma, and it's going to be text plain. Super, this is happening great. And then I'm just going to say just send the response to my client with some text called as maybe, hey there, I am GM Toots. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to put a next line over here, and this is looking great for me. And again, moving ahead, I have to somehow tell to this particular HTTP core module that on which port you have to listen, and I have already declared a port over here. I'm going to use that particular variable as well. So over here I'm just going to say something like server dot listen. The first parameter goes is nothing but the port. Okay, the second goes is nothing but the host name, and the last, again, it is going to be a function which will, I'll just going to console log it out, that I'm just going to say, so over here I'm going to use a new cool way of writing dynamic strings in ES6, and that is something like this. I really don't know what these things are called, like backward slash a single one. And over here I'm just going to say my server is running and is accessed on. So where is it really accessing? It's going to be HTTP, that is nothing but the protocol, name of a machine, that is nothing but the host name, that is your local host, and I'm going to be working on 3000. So this is going to be the URL. So again, these two things are already defined over here, so I can really replace it from the definition of the URL. And how I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it a dollar over here like this, and I'm going to say it here nothing but host name. At the same time over here, the same way I'm going to do it like this, and the host name would be port. Great. This is the way you can do it, or you can do it by the way I've written it over here, the way I'm creating a dynamic string over here. So moving, even if at all you want to change it like this over here, it would be again simple, and it will be something like this. And request.url should be evaluated, so I'm going to put it in dollar, and this is how things are going to work. So I think so. The code really looks great for me. Let me see how to run it. So I'm just going to put over here, I'm going to see it's a node space and the file of my file in which I've written this code, and that is nothing but app.js. Let me see if I have any errors in it. Wow, so you can see my server is running, and it is accessed on HTTP localhost 3000. So let me just copy this particular stuff out over here, and I just open my Chrome. Let me see what happens over here. Oh wow, you can see this is how I'm getting the response from the server which I've created, and this is pretty much how you can create a basic HTTP server using the core module, that is HTTP of Node. So this is it, guys. Thanks a lot for bearing me. Yep, bye.